بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
الصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين سيدنا ونبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين ومن تبعهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين. أما بعد، فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إن ينصركم الله فلا غالب لكم وإن يخذلكم فمن ذا الذي ينصركم من بعده وعلى الله فليتوكل المؤمنون. صدق الله العظيم. Alhamdulillah, brothers and sisters, we are continuing with the Quranic principles for life. And as we mentioned previously, the Quran is for us all the motivation and all the inspiration and all the guidance that we can ever need in our life. And if we read the Quran in such a way and we connect ourselves with the Quran in such a way that this is my GPS for life, this is my roadmap for my life, wallahi, you will see that this Quran will transform you, and this Quran will be a source of guidance for you. And if we keep the Quran as something that is, customary, or something that is only read, when somebody passes away, or what they have a Quran khani, right? This is the extent of our, relationship with the Quran. Then that's exactly what it will be for you. It will be nothing more than that, and it will be nothing less than that. That's all it will be. It will be something that we take tabarruk, or something that we take, blessings from. Whereas the actual objective, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَهَذَا كِتَابٌ أَنزَلْنَاهُ مُبَارَكٌ لِيَدَّبَّرُوا آيَاتِهِ. And this Quran, we have revealed it upon you so that you may reflect upon it. لِيَدَّبَّرُوا آيَاتِهِ وَلِيَتَذَكَّرَ أُولُو الْأَلْبَابِ. And so that the people of intelligence, they may take heed and they may take admonition from this book. So from amongst the significant principles of life is this verse, which is mentioned by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and it is mentioned, this one, in the third juz. This is mentioned in the fourth juz, In the fourth juz, Allah Azza wa Jal says that إِن يَنصُرْكُمُ اللَّهُ فَلَا غَالِبَ لَكُمْ. A principle to live by, that if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is with you, and if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives you victory, and Allah gives you assistance, then there is no one that can defeat you. وَإِن يَخْذُلْكُمْ. And if He abandons you, فَمَنْ ذَا الَّذِي يَنصُرُكُمْ مِنْ بَعْدِهِ. Then who will there be that will assist you after Allah has abandoned you? وَعَلَى اللَّهِ فَلْيَتَوَكَّلِ الْمُؤْمِنُونَ. And upon Allah should the believers put their trust. SubhanAllah, brothers and sisters, this is a principle for life. This is something for us to understand, that if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is with us, then it doesn't matter if we don't have the entire world, we have no material wealth, we have no backing. But if we know Allah Azza wa Jal is with me, how do I know that Allah is with me? I know that Allah is with me, but then when I am with Allah, that is when I know that Allah is with me. وَأَنَا مَعَهُ إِذَا ذَكَرَنِي. I am with Him when He remembers me. Remember this as a usul, brothers and sisters. We're always looking that, where is the trouble in my life? Where is the problem? Why are these problems coming in my life? And we have to see in my life, how much am I with Allah? Where is Allah in my life? One of the mashayikh, he mentioned so beautifully. He said, if you want to know what Allah thinks of you, then you should think, what do you think of Allah? In what estimation do you hold the deen of Allah? When the time of prayer comes, I could care less. If I pray, I pray. If I don't pray, it's not really a big deal. The month of Ramadan comes. If I fast, I fast. If I don't fast, no big deal. Not really that important. If I follow the commandment of Allah, okay. If I don't, then I don't. Then what's going to happen? No big deal. So understand that just as the commandment of Allah is no big deal, then Allah, for you, you are no big deal. You are no big deal. And the one who holds in high esteem the command of Allah, the deen of Allah, that he will not sacrifice and he will not compromise, even the least, understand that Allah holds you in very high esteem. This is the promise of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. احفظ الله يحفظك. You guard Allah and Allah will guard you. How do you guard Allah? You guard Allah by guarding His commandments. You guard Allah by protecting His deen in your life. When you have Allah Ta'ala's deen in your life, understand that Allah will be with you. احفظ الله يحفظك. You guard Allah and Allah will guard you. Look at us and look at our daily lives. It's basically sometimes it's like no problem if I miss a prayer. It's no problem if I, don't wear hijab. It's no problem if I break the commandment of Allah. It's no problem if Ramadan comes and goes and I miss a couple of fasts. It's no problem. It's not a big deal. Then understand that when you have this attitude, you are not guaranteed the protection of Allah. احفظ الله يحفظك. This is the promise. You guard Allah, Allah will guard you. You stand for the deen of Allah, Allah will stand for you. This is as simple as it is. Now the question is, sometimes we see everyone abandons you. What about that? Everybody abandons you. You lose all support. You lose all assistance. That is the moment when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants to show you His miracle. Our brothers and sisters in Gaza, you will see Allah will give them victory. Insha'Allah. Say Insha'Allah. Bi'idhnillah. You will see. Do you know why? Do you know what's the sign that Allah will give them victory? Because the whole world has abandoned them. Not the whole world. The whole world is actually with them. Kafir and Muslim are with them. Except a bunch of trolls and a bunch of degraded, humiliated, zalil people. Those are the people that are, other than that, the entire world is with them. Non-Muslim and Muslim. But I'm talking about the nations of the world. I'm talking about the people of asbab. Right? The people of asbab, the people of weapons, the people of power. They have abandoned them. The everyday person, you go on the street, the everyday Joe, the Muslim and non-Muslim, their hearts bleed for the people of Gaza. The whole world is with them, right? The enemy and the people, the oppressors right now in the entire world, they are humiliated. Everybody hates them and thinks them to be lower than dogs and pigs because these people have no shame and have no mercy even upon children. The whole world looks down upon them. Don't worry about that. But I'm talking about the victory. My dear brothers and sisters, sometimes when does victory come? Victory sometimes comes when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala takes away all the asbab. Do you know what is asbab? You know what is a sabab? It's the means, like weapons and help and backup and assistance. That is when your heart will turn to Allah alone. That is the moment where Allah's victory comes. Right? حتى إذا استيأس الرسل وظنوا أنهم قد كذبوا جاءهم نصرنا. Until there was moments where the prophets, they were saying, where's the help of Allah? And those who were with them, they were completely left by everybody. They had no means to defend of themselves. They had no means of assistance. At that moment, your tawajjuh goes only to Him. Because when you got backup, then you're not thinking about Allah. I got backup. When you got your AK, that's when you're saying, I got my AK. You're not thinking about Allah at that moment. It's when you are completely empty-handed and nothing. That is the moment when your heart will make tawajjuh to Allah alone. That is when His help will come. Brothers and sisters, this will happen to you in your life. Don't become despondent at that point. Because you say, look, I have nothing. I have no money. I have no support. My own brother left me. My own family left me. I don't have this. You have the only one you need. You have all that you need. When you have Allah, then you don't have to worry about anything else. But Allah puts you in that predicament that He takes away from you all of the worldly means. All of the material asbab. Allah takes it away from you just so your heart will make tawajjuh to Him alone. Otherwise, when you got that little tunnel where your support is coming, you got the little wire, you're getting it straight into your bank account. Right? Those wires, those little tunnels where there's some benefit coming, in your mind you're like, okay, that's where our help is coming from. You see? That's where my nusra is coming from. That's where my help is coming from. That's where my aid is coming from. Sometime, and this is how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did to His anbiya. This was the meaning of Badr. This was the meaning of Sayyidina Musa. This is Quran. This is the word of Allah in Quran. Until Sayyidina Musa, Inna lamudrakun, Bani Israel was with him. 100,000 soldiers of Fir'aun. Can you imagine? 100,000 soldiers is a country, bro. It's a country. And Fir'aun, he is coming after Sayyidina Musa alayhi salam and Bani Israel. And they're passing, and the sea is in front of them. And Fir'aun's army is behind them. And the Qawm, they're saying, "Oh Musa, inna lamudrakun." We are sitting ducks. They are going to catch up to us. You promised us. See, we came with you. And your God said, and still his people are doubting him. Till the last minute. What did Sayyidina Musa alayhi salam said? Kalla, kalla inna ma'ya rabbi sayahdeen. Never, oh my people, never. Allah will never abandon me. You say, inna lamudrakun. We're caught up. They caught up to us. You're losing your faith. But the sea is in front of us. And Fir'aun is behind us. How? This, right? Complete, all hope is gone. No weapons. Just a bunch of slaves running away from their masters with nothing, with no provisions, with no food, with nothing. And the army fully equipped, right? To the T, fully equipped with chariots, with horses, with spears, with swords, with archers, against a bunch of people. They don't even have the energy to walk. Men, women, children, and the sea is in front of them. Kalla inna ma'iya rabbi sayahdeen. Look at what Sayyidina Musa says. He said, never. It's not going to happen because my Allah has promised me. My Lord is with me. He didn't say is with you. You guys are doubting. He's with me. But since you're following me, then you're going to get your way across as well. Inna ma'iya rabbi. He didn't say, inna ma'ana rabbuna. Because at that moment, Bani Israel was doubting. But Musa, they had no doubt. That moment, this is the meaning of, إِن يَنْصُرْكُمُ اللَّهُ فَلَا غَالِبَ لَكُمْ. If Allah is with you, nothing can overpower you. Brothers and sisters, we will come in our lives, once in a while, certain stages in our life will come where Fir'aun's army will be behind you. That will come. When that comes, don't give up. That's what I was talking about a couple of nights ago. We give up too quickly. You guys, don't give up on life. Difficulties will come, and you have an army behind you. You're like, oh my God, how am I going to get out of this? And then you have a sea in front of you, the ocean in front of you. Like, how I'm going to drown here. At that moment, you must say what Musa alayhi salam said. If I have the army here, and I have the sea here, I have Allah above. I have my Allah. And when I have my Allah, then I can never lose. وَعَلَى اللَّهِ فَلْيَتَوَكَّلِ الْمُؤْمِنُونَ. And let it be upon Allah that the believers put their trust. That is that moment where your trust is being tested. What type of tawakkul is this if you have backup? Right? That's not tawakkul then, right? What tawakkul is it? When you got your backup and you got your assistance and you got your everything. My point is, I'm not saying those things are not important. I'm not saying we should not adopt the means. I'm saying when you get put in that situation, don't lose hope, because if Allah is with you, then nothing can defeat you. That's what I mean. I'm not saying that money is not important. I'm not saying resources is not important. I'm not saying the weapons are not important. I'm not saying helping is not important and assistance is not important. We need all of that. The Prophet ﷺ adopted the means. He took every step that he could to attain success and victory. Also in your life, you need to do everything that's in your power to gain what you have to get. Everything that's in your power. But understand that sometimes Allah will put you in that situation in life. Don't give up. And I'm saying this, brothers and sisters, after 20 years of experience in the community. 20 years I have given counseling. 20 years I have talked to, couples. And you know what I see? A lot of people giving up. Throwing in the towel immediately. And that's not the time to give up. That's not the moment to just say, okay, that's it, forget about it. I'm gonna throw away everything. I'm gonna run away from home. I can't stand my mom and dad. I'm gonna run away from home. We have to implement within ourselves sabr. We have to implement within ourselves the yaqeen and the conviction that Allah is rewarding me. And wallahi, I'll tell you something. Those who wait for the reward, sabr talkhas, lekin aqibat shirin. The patience is very, very bitter, but the result of it is very sweet. The fruit of patience is very sweet. And that is why when Sayyidina Musa alayhi salam, Allah Ta'ala commanded him. He said, right? اضرب بعصاك الحجر. Or he said, hit with your staff. Hit with your staff the sea, and the sea parted on both sides, literally. كل فرق كالطود العظيم. Every wave of it as like mountains on the side. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made a way. There was a dry path for them in Bani Israel. They got to the end and Fir'aun was drowned. And we know the story. But my dear brothers and sisters, these are not stories. This is عبرة لأولي الأبصار. Allah says, عبرة لأولي الأبصار. عبرة لأولي الألباب. These are lessons for the people of intelligence. These are not stories. These are not fairy tales. These are things that happened, and not only did they happen then, they happened throughout history. They happened in our day and age. It has happened in our day and age. If we look deeper, if we understand, even in our lifetime it has happened, where a small group of people, ill-equipped, having nothing, they've defeated armies. They've defeated with nothing. The whole world abandoned them. But understand this, that is a different story. I'm talking about your own life. In your own life. This is, there is wars that take place. There's battles that take place. I'm talking about the everyday battle in your own life. The everyday battle in your own journey, in your own daily jihad. Life is a jihad. Life is a struggle. Understand that in your struggle, remember this usul, that if Allah is with me, then nothing can defeat me. And if Allah is not with me, then who is there that will ever help me after Him? And upon Him should you put your trust. And again, sometimes you'll be surrounded by certain situations where all the means are gone. All assistance, all backup, all resources, completely depleted. That is the moment where the help of Allah will come. He wants to see this. Where is this? Are you going to become despondent? Are you going to throw in the towel? Or are you going to say, Allah, I know you are with me, whatever is the income, whatever is the outcome. Whatever is the outcome. Some of the people of Allah, they said, if I live, I know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is rewarding me. If I die, I know that I become shaheed. There was a very great sheikh by the name of Ibn Taymiyyah, rahimahullah. Ibn Taymiyyah said something very interesting. He said, if you put me in jail, he said, I'm in seclusion and I will make dhikr and ibadah. You give me the opportunity to be in i'tikaf. I'll be in khalwa. And if you exile me, it will be vacation. This is his words. He said, if you exile me, it's siyaha. If you jail me, it's khalwa. If you kill me, it's shaheed. What can you do to me? Ana jannati fi sadri. He used to say this, Ana jannati fi sadri. I am my own paradise in my heart. You can't do anything to me. You put me in prison, then I am, in i'tikaf, khalwa, I am worshiping my Lord day and night. And if you exile me, I'm on vacation. And if you kill me, I'm shaheed. And if you let me live, I'm going to keep talking. People that, those tyrant kings, they said, be quiet, don't tell us that we're doing wrong. Let us keep doing wrong. Let us keep, stealing from people. They speak the truth. He was one of the ones who fought against the Mongols. Shaykh Ibn Taymiyyah rahimahullah fought against the Mongols. He was a very prolific human being, amazing person. But this was his thing. He was always standing up for the truth. So he would get put in situations. But look at the way that he looked at things. That is my point. Is that when Allah is with you, you have your Jannah in your heart. You could be in any situation and you'll see a good in it. And this is a final advice in regards to this is when we are in a situation like this, sometimes we feel that we have to compromise and we have to give up. There's a friend of mine, he worked corporate. He was in a corporate office in San Francisco, high corporate. You know those big buildings? Yeah, he was working in one of those. So, he was working as an accountant. So I've had people tell me that, Shaykh, you know what I do when I come home and I pray all my 5 prayers at one time. I said, why do you do that? He said, is that okay? I said, no, it's not okay. Why would you do that? He says, is that okay? Mekuna boss pason person mekuna. He does it first and then he asks later. So he says, I pray, it's not okay. So then he says my boss is a really mean Jewish guy. So what's this Jewish have to do with it? I said, Jewish people, they also know prayer and all that kind of stuff, right? So he said, yeah, I know, but it's just like, I don't want to cause problems, and I just got this job. And I said, you know, like, what am I supposed to do? So then I have that case as well. And then this is another person, also he works corporate. He told me, he said, no, you know what? I can't miss my job. I can't miss my prayer. So he said, I got a promotion. I had a desk job, but it was kind of like in an open place. And, you know, my boss, you know, he's a very stern person, very strict, very disciplined. So then he said, time of prayer would come, Zuhur would come, and that was not my lunch. My lunch would come before Zuhur entered. That was a problem for me. So then when, you know, I can't pray Zuhur before the time. Right? They'll pray Zuhur before the time. Your prayer is not valid. So he said, I understood that. So I said, that's okay. I'm going to pray in the office. If he says anything, then I say, this is my worship. You have to kind of, my point is, you can't give in. You have to be confident sometimes. If Allah is with you, if you have that yaqeen, Allah is with me. Even in the smallest, that's my point, that even in the smallest everyday things in life. So he told me, lo and behold, I was praying, my boss walks in while I was in prayer. And I was like, in prayer, you know, I was like, okay, you know, you know, you don't know what they're going to say. So then he slowly walked out, and then he came back maybe like a half an hour later. He said, you know, excuse me, Mr. So-and-so. He said, I would just wanted to give you this. So he said, he gave me a key. I said, you know, what is this key? He said, I really apologize. I know that I walked in when you were praying. Listen to this. That stern Jewish, I don't know why everybody has to add Jewish. Maybe the guy's not even a Jew, right? He's a Jewish Yahudi. You know, Yahudi. He's a Jewish Yahudi. Like, bichara, he don't even know what is, maybe he's an atheist, right? But anyways, so he goes, like, he gave me the key, and then he tells me, like, I know you must have been praying. I apologize that I walked in and I disturbed you. I walked in front of you. He said, this is the key to my special office. It has a bathroom as well. So if you need to pray, just go, take all the time that you need, and just come back. I trust you. You've been one of our best workers. And he came back and he told me, he said, Sheikh, in my heart, I was thinking, I know I might get yelled at, or I might get disciplined, that this is not the time for this. You're not supposed to do it on your work time. But I said, so what? What's he going to do? You understand what I mean? And then another thing is, if you really know the corporate world, you got the law on your side. This is your religion. I mean, this is not like Alabama in the 1920s. We're living in 2024, man. You're supposed to not even call a person by a she if they want to be called he. And you're afraid of, like, wearing hijab? Come on, man. This is not the time to be embarrassed. This is your time to wear hijab. You can't even call somebody who's a she, as muqawarish she, but you have to call me he, or I'm going to do a lawsuit on you. So why are you know, this is shaitan, you know? We're becoming overwhelmed. We're like mentally defeated already. We're mentally giving up already. Isn't it? This is the law. So look at what Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam told us, and I'll end with this. Man iltamasa rida Allahi bi sakhatin nas. Radiyallahu anhu wa arda anhu nas. The one who seeks the pleasure of Allah, he knows that I have to do this. This is my deen. This is what Allah has commanded me. At the expense of people getting mad at him. What should you do? Should you make the people happy? Or should you make Allah happy? Sometimes you're in a situation. So it says here, this is the hadith of the Prophet, that when Allah is with you, he says, the one who seeks, man iltamasa rida Allahi bi sakhatin nas. The one who seeks the pleasure of Allah at the expense of people's pleasure. At the expense that people are going to get angry at you. I'm going to please Allah, I'm not going to compromise, and I know that somebody might get angry at me. Then what? Allah will be pleased with him, and Allah will make the people pleased with him. Do you understand? You said, I'm not going to compromise. I'm going to please Allah. Even if somebody else gets mad, who cares? People don't even care if you get mad if they have blue hair, or that they're a woman and they want to become a man. They don't even care. Even if they want to dress up like a dolphin and say, you have to call me a dolphin, I'm not a human being. I'm going to sue you. They don't care about what people think. Muslims are still kind of like, you're still embarrassed about the haqq? It's a shame. That shows how internally and mentally defeated we've become. That we don't understand that when Allah is with you, you will see miracles happening when you know that Allah is with you. And on the opposite, when you seek the pleasure of people at the expense of the displeasure of Allah, then Allah will be displeased with you, and the people will also end up being displeased with you. In the end, they will also not be happy with you. He said, look at this guy. He gives up everything. He compromises everything. He leaves everything. And you lose your value. You lose your moral backbone. Oh, Muslims, do you know why people are accepting Islam today? It's the most, like hundreds, because we have backbone. We don't compromise. I don't care what you say about my religion. And that's why people love this. And why are people leaving Christianity? Because everything's okay. That's okay. If you want to cuss Jesus Christ, go ahead, curse God, curse Jesus, curse everybody. Curse the Virgin Mary. Khairas, buko, what's it of me? We don't allow. You don't talk about the religion. This is the red line. You don't cross this red line. I'm not going to compromise my prayer. This is my prayer. This is my hijab. This is my deen. This is my religion. And that's why till this day, what are they afraid of? Nothing but Islam. Because Islam does not compromise, because we know Allah is with us. This is the haqq. This is the truth. So remember this usul for life, brothers and sisters. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is with us, nothing can defeat us. And when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not with us, then who will be there that can help us? No one. And upon Him should we put our trust, and He will show us His miracles in our lives. May Allah give us tawfiq to implement that. Wa akhiru da'wana alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Subhanakallahumma bihamdika nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta